everybody, I'm Caitlin and I will be your chemistry instructor this semester. Welcome to class. Great job logging into Canvas. Now I know many of us are doing online class for the first time and it's a new format for a lot of us and it can be a little bit challenging. And even though we can't be together in person, it's really important to me that we can feel connected and that we have fun learning chemistry together. So I have a couple of tips for you to get you started. Tip number 1. Gather your supplies. You're going to need reliable internet access, as well as a computer with a microphone and a camera for our Zoom sessions. You're also going to need access to Google Sheets or Excel or another data analysis software for analyzing data and making plots. And you're going to need a way to take a photo of your handwritten work and scan it and upload it to Canvas. So you can do that using an app on your phone like Google Drive or Adobe Scan or Chem Scanner. Any of those work. So you're also going to need a copy of our textbook this semester. The textbook that we're using is Chemistry, A Molecular Approach by Navaldo Tro. It's the 4th edition, and we're going to get through the first 13 chapters of this textbook together. I'll give you the sections of the textbook that will go along with each lecture. I'll give you problems to work from the textbook, and so this will be a really good resource. It's a great book. You're also going to need a scientific calculator. So a scientific calculator is one that looks like this. The important buttons that you need this EE button and the log button. We're going to be using those. And if you're a dork like me, you can put stickers on your calculator. You're also going to need 2 notebooks. One of them for your lecture notes and all the problems that you work. And I recommend keeping a periodic table with this notebook that you can reference, because we're going to be referencing this a lot during this class. And you can use, I put a PDF file that has this exact periodic table on it that you can print out, and you'll be able to use that on your exams and quizzes. I also recommend printing out our class schedule and the syllabus for the class, and just keeping those for reference in your notebook. Your second notebook will be for lab. So one of our goals this semester is to learn how to keep an organized and detailed lab notebook. So you're going to keep your lab notebook with a table of contents and all your notes for every lab that we do virtually this semester. And that's it for materials. My second piece of advice for you for this semester is to have good time management. Now, this is a challenge for me and many of us. So I recommend blocking out your schedule for the week. So you're going to have about 3 hours of lecture and 6 hours of problem solving to do before our weekly class meeting on Friday morning. So I just recommend looking at your schedule and blocking out a good, I guess that would be a total of 9 hours of chemistry time to do before we meet on Friday. And then you're going to have several assignments due each week. Assignments are all going to be due by midnight on Sunday night. And so this is going to be your challenge problems that you work together. It's going to be a quiz that will come directly from the homework problems or the practice problems. It's going to be a reflection, which I'll talk about a little bit more, and your lab notebook that you'll turn in every week. So a couple more things about time. I would also check out the schedule and look when our exam times are going to be, and put those on your calendar and just make sure you're available. And if you have any scheduling conflicts, or if you have trouble getting any of the materials, just send me a Canvas message as soon as you can and I will help out. Okay, my third piece of advice for you this semester is to ask lots and lots of questions. Now, chemistry can be challenging, it can be confusing, it can be intimidating for some of us, and the best way to get through it is to just be curious and ask a ton of questions. And so there's a few opportunities for you to do this. While you're watching the lecture videos, you can write your questions down in your notebook and save them for me. You can send me a Canvas message or wait until our class meeting on Friday and ask your questions. Or you can use the discussion forums that I'll be posting that go along with each lecture, and you can ask the class and we can all help each other out in answering those questions. I also just recommend being really curious about the chemistry happening around you and asking questions to Google, and just getting in the habit of asking questions and thinking about chemistry. One of your assignments this semester is going to be to do a weekly reflection where you talk about your thoughts about what we've been learning in class and how it applies in real life. And so you can do some research on Google about latest things that are going on in science, or you can just think about the day-to-day things that are going on around you and the chemistry there. But curiosity is a really big ingredient for success in this class. And the last bit of advice that I have for you is to make friends. Now this is a lot easier when we get to see each other 3 times a week in class. I'm bummed out that we don't get to do that this semester. However, I think we can do it online too. So I'm going to be putting you into groups for our Friday challenge problems every week. And so I recommend that you get to know your group mates, and you can message each other on Canvas, you can exchange contact information, you can even go to the park together and do a socially distant meetup and talk about chemistry from 6 feet away. But I just really recommend making friends. It makes chemistry a lot more fun, and it makes the problems a lot easier when you can talk about them with someone else. Alright, so that's it for my advice. When you're ready, go ahead and go down to the button that says Start Here and click on that button, and that will take you to the orientation module. You have 3 things to do for me as soon as you can before class starts. One is to take the syllabus quiz. The second is to do the student survey, which will be practice taking a photo of a piece of paper and uploading it onto Canvas. And the third is a discussion forum that has a little icebreaker prompt for us to get to know each other as a class. So if you could do those 3 things, ideally before class starts, but definitely by Wednesday, August 26th, that would be excellent. I'm going to post the first 3 lectures for our first week of class before class starts on the 24th, and our first class meeting will be Friday, August 28th. So you'll go through the first week of lecture before you come to class on Friday the 28th. So I am really looking forward to meeting you all through the discussion forum and then over Zoom on Friday the 28th. So in case you're curious about what I've been spraying on these pieces of paper, I first painted the paper. The pink is an indicator, an acid-base indicator called phenolphthalein that is clear when it's in its acidic form, and it turns this pink color when it's in its basic form. And then the blue is a copper sulfate solution that I painted on, and then what I sprayed was a solution of ammonia, and the ammonia reacts with the phenolphthalein to turn it pink. And the blue is a complex ion that forms with the copper, and it's called tetramine diaqua copper 2 ion.
Nailed it.
And then this, of course, is a piece of dry ice in a beaker.